This is the trade review. I am Chase. With me, as always, my man Cody. What do we got in store today?
This one is one of your trades. It is Kenny McIntosh and Anthony Richardson for Dak Prescott and J.K. Dobbins. Not your trade specifically, but one that you pulled from one of your pretty active leagues called 12-Step Program, 12-team Superflex lineup, start 10, PPR, full PPR, and tight end premium doesn't matter here because there's no tight ends in this trade. So, what do you have for league context whenever we're looking at this trade?
So for context of the league itself, it is pretty active. Again, 12 team start 10. These two managers in particular are very active. D Knox has built up a pretty solid team. He has some really good young players, name value type of players, but he's probably a competitive team, top 4 team this year. So it depends on if that youth can hit in year 2. So he's competitive, looking at, which is why this was a little bit interesting. Maybe he believes in that A-Rich, hype. And then Husker DKB, who is, I know, part of Scott's Discord, or his group me at least. And he had a total scorched earth rebuild. He made some really savvy trades, got his team in actually a really good position where it's on the up and up. So he's trading away Anthony Richardson in this deal to D Knox, and he in return gets Dak Prescott and J.K. Dobbins. And yes, Kenny McIntosh is in there, but not really a key piece of the deal. But he could, there's rumors of him doing something. This is lineup as well.
Yeah, I mean, in your lineup, start 10. Do you really want to ever start Kenny McIntosh? No, but it's better than any wide receiver equivalent that you could have there. So at least he's getting the piece back. Probably just to, replace the J.K. Dobbins. We obviously do have the news right now of Ken Walker and Zach Charbonnet both being hurt. Don't know how long that's going to go for. Definitely expect them back by the start of the regular season. So good to see Kenny McIntosh getting some run, though, during this time that they are out. Don't really think it matters too much, though. And this is where I think we can just go into the pure value of the trade. I think at this point, Anthony Richardson is definitely over Dak Prescott in the Dynasty community. And just because of the upside that he holds, he is probably going to be more. Now, is he worth a full J.K. Dobbins worth more, though? That's where I would have the difference of opinion, that I'm thinking, maybe there's more of like a second range of pick swap for Anthony Richardson, a down tier to Dak and that. And I'd still have J.K. Dobbins as being worth a first, maybe not a high end first, but at least a mid to playoff first.
Yeah, absolutely agree. And Anthony Richardson is above Dak, but it's not by a whole lot, even right now. So there is that, of course, potential of A-Rich becoming that Konami code, just up in that Justin Herbert range. Maybe he can be Jalen Hurts if everything works with him and Shane Steichen. So there is that true upside there. But Dak Prescott is going to be a perennial QB 12. He's going to be in that QB 12 range. He might be QB 10, 14, but he's a very good quarterback in the lineup. You like to have that consistency, and I'm with you. I don't think that there is a full J.K. Dobbins difference. I think it's a good deal for both sides when you're really like trying to get like the high end upside with A-Rich. But I do think that right now I would take in a start 10 Dak and J.K. Dobbins. I think that one hits for me. Kenny McIntosh, like you mentioned, could have a potential role, but most likely he's the number 3 on there. He will have a week or two, I'm sure, but best ball, you're never going to know when to start Kenny McIntosh.
Yeah, not unless you have the injuries, right? Which is why you roster that type of a player, because if the injuries do happen, you'll know when you're starting him, but he's probably just going to be sitting at the back end of your roster for most weeks, just like every piece in the start 10 lineup league is going to. But what I really want to look at in this trade is, like, while I think there is a difference of the pure value, I don't think that it's actually a bad move for either side here. And so I'm going to pull up Dynasty Daddy and look at what, in my opinion, where you have to look for this trade is what were the quarterback rooms looking like before these moves were made. And so for D Knox, he would have had Trevor Lawrence, Tua Tagovailoa, and Dak Prescott. Now, it's a bunch of guys who are just kind of all in the same range. We think Trevor can take the step forward, but can he actually take that step forward being the mobile quarterback, top 6, the Joe Burrow type of player? We don't really know that yet, but he still does have now Trevor Lawrence, Tua, and then Anthony Richardson is that really high upside shot that could launch his quarterback room into that type of a range, into that top 4 or 5. I think that outcome does exist for Anthony Richardson, even though there is a little bit more risk, he's still got two very good quarterbacks in Trevor and Tua there. And now on the Huskers side, he's got Lamar, Justin Fields, and Dak Prescott. Would have had Lamar, Justin Fields, and Anthony Richardson. All of those guys, we don't really know how long their window is going to be because they are just based on the rushing as we've seen right now. We'll see if Lamar Jackson can take a step forward in the passing game with the new Todd Monken offense. But longevity of those guys is much more risky. So I think this trade did kind of make sense for both of them. D-Knox gets the high upside variance quarterback in Anthony Richardson, and Husker gets a little bit more of the stable, steady Dak Prescott. And he's probably going to finish in that QB 10 to QB 14 year over year until we see the legs completely give out from him. I think this is actually a very well structured deal for both sides and what they needed for their quarterback rooms.
Yeah, I totally agree with you because having Lamar and Fields and a Rich would have three, super high upsides, also three very risky players. I think Lamar's the safest of them. I think everything's fine there, legs permitting, but Fields still has questions around his accuracy. A Rich does too. So you get that stability, but you also add that depth piece. Huskers has Bijan as pretty much his only running back of worth. He has Tajay Spears, Chase Brown, Abanikanda, names like that. Any RB on a 53, right? So J.K. Dobbins gives him an RB2 on that team. And I think he probably feels pretty good about that return, gets a little bit of depth, gives himself an opportunity to actually, improve at least. And J.K. Dobbins isn't old. I know running backs, all that kind of drama are going on right now, but he's a nice solid piece to add to that running back room. Huge upgrade over Spears. So I definitely am with you. I think it's a great structured deal, kind of a perfect match really for something like this.
Right, and it's just one of those where you're taking the risk and the variance, and you're paying the extra premium to do it. Right, you're also taking the Anthony Richardson before any of us have ever seen him on the field. We don't know what that blow up game is going to be whenever he does put that 70-yard run in preseason and takes it to the house, and everybody blows up, and now he's a top 6 quarterback before he's even actually played a real NFL snap against the ones. But no, I do like this deal. Obviously, if I'm just going to put it from a value perspective, Husker, I think he's got to take the cake right now just because of getting a full first round pick worthy running back, in my opinion, in J.K. Dobbins. But like the deal for both sides here, man.
Yep, absolutely. So again, make sure you do let us know what your thoughts are down below. Subscribe to the channel, please. Huge benefit. And make sure you check out our Twitters as well. Trophy Chase TFDR, Cody Smith TFDR. I guess it's not Twitter anymore. It's X, whatever. Find us on that app and you'll have a good time. So yeah, thank you so much for joining us here in the Fantasy Draft Room.